Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be a live trade video where I try to capture some of my trades as they play out live. A couple quick clarifications. Number one, I am trading futures. If you don't know what futures are, I'll put a link down below in the description area to a totally free 4-part series that'll walk you through the futures market, how it all works. One little thing that maybe gets you interested if you were annoyed by the pattern day trend rule. There is 0 pattern day trend rule in futures, so you have unlimited day trades every single day. Second, I am trading futures through a prop firm. What is a prop firm? How does a prop firm work? Which prop firm am I using? All that is answered at the link that you see at the top of the screen there. I'll also put it down in the description area. But ultimately, a prop firm is a way for you to put very little of your money at risk, and then you have a lot of upside potential. So if you want to learn more on that, like I said, just check out that link. So I will pause the screen and recording software for now, and I'll be back as soon as I find a potential trade. All right, looking like a potential breakdown. I'm in there short. Come back down here. Blue line is my entry. I'm short, so if the price goes below there, that is what I want to see. Come on. There we go. Out there for a nice $510 scalp. Down here, if you're not familiar with my screen. So not the cleanest entry point, but one I felt, and to give myself a little credit, not to beat myself up too hard, I felt I could have confidence in it. And I'm glad I felt that way because it ultimately did work in my favor. All right, I'll pause. Let's see what else I can find. All right, I'm going to try a bit of knife catching, but not at a random area. An area that I think could present a nice area to do so. All right, so I started off very, very small. So the thing with starting off small is if you're right immediately, which I was in that situation. My first entry point and it went straight green. You're not going to make a whole lot. But the whole point is if it keeps going against you, you have some wiggle room to build. So I erred on the side of flexibility. But again, when you err on the side of flexibility and then this sort of move happens right away, then you'll be sitting there saying, I should have just went all in. I shouldn't have worried about flexibility. Now, of course, if the price continued to go down, I would be sitting there saying, why did I go all in? Why did I not err on the side of flexibility? So one of those situations where sometimes hindsight will make you look smart. Other times you'll feel kind of stupid in that situation. Yeah, feeling stupid, but again, I traded long enough to know that, sometimes that's just how the market goes. Hindsight will, it's a fair thing. Sometimes, like I said, hindsight will build up your ego and it'll have you feeling great. Other times it'll try to rip your ego down, make you feel real stupid. But that's the power of hindsight. All right, I will pause. Oh, and one other thing. Wait, I could see you saying, wait a second, where did your other gains go? The other nice thing about prop firms is you can have multiple accounts because ultimately with prop firms, you can do copy trading. And with the prop firm I'm using, you can have up to 5 accounts at once and then copy trade them. Meaning if you make one trade on an account, let's just say you make $200, but you copied it to those 4 other accounts. Well, now you made that one trade for $200 a total of 5 times. Again, because you copied it to your other accounts. So there you walk away with $1,000. Even though the trade you made was only $200, overall $1,000. So that's one of the cool things about prop firms also. But point being that is why these numbers are different because this is a separate account. Now you don't have to do copy trading, but you can have multiple accounts, and you could do copy trading if you want. But having the multiple accounts really gives you, I think, a lot of flexibility in terms of risk management, psychological management. In terms of if you feel like you're maybe going on tilt or starting to get a little frustrated or irritated, you can switch to maybe an account you don't quite care as much about. Why would you not care as much about it? That's probably beyond the scope of this video, but there's a lot of cool stuff you can do within the world of prop firms, even just from, like I said, kind of a psychological management standpoint. But that is why that number is now different because I'm just on a separate account. All right, now I'm actually thinking of doing the other thing instead of going long. See if I can build a position from the short side. Okay, first entry point. Again, just erring on the side of caution and on the side of flexibility. See what it wants to do. Again, I'm short, so I want to see prices go down. All right, out there for a small little scalp. And we look to restart the process again. But next time, let's see if it wants to get up here around the 25 area. There we go. I'll throw an order out right there, and we'll just throw one out right there too. Also one right there. I'll throw out some orders there. So even if all three of these get built or get hit, I'm still only in 15 MNQ, which is not, if you understand futures, it's not the biggest. It may sound like, well, 15 contracts, yeah, but MNQ contracts, so it's not. Now, if it was 15 NQ contracts, that's a different story, but. All right, I'll pause and I'll keep an eye on. We'll see if those ones ultimately, if the price heads up to fill those ones up overhead. Well, at this point, I'm going to change things up. Maybe. If this wants to come back up, I would like to just try to get a trade here and then let it ideally work for me. All right, in there. See if we can get some more push to the downside here. So just throw out some potential cover orders there. Oh my, it hit that first one. Wouldn't quite fill me, huh? Well, that's frustrating. That's actually very frustrating. All right, added some more there. Wants to come back down again. Still believe that this will ultimately want to not necessarily roll over and put in new lows, but I don't need that to happen in order to make some money on it. Got some more there. And just still slowly adding in here. Watching the 5-minute quite a bit. And blue line is my average price. Remember that? Remember when it was down there tapping that green line right there? That's crazy.
Order filled. Order filled.
So out there on that one, the epitome of twofold there. Number one, giving yourself flexibility. But number two, I made the comment earlier about an account that, depending on the account you're in, some of them you care a little bit more about than others. And this is one where I'm still willing to get extra aggressive. Again, I don't want to go beyond the scope of the video in terms of prop firm strategy and all that. But now, if you want, I think probably the best way for you to learn is just look at the channel as a whole or swing by the live stream. I do live stream, during the day. So make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so that you know when I am live. But like I said, that was a context where, yes, was that, to keep on building. Yeah, I understand your concern 100%. I'm just trying to convey that, again, you're totally valid to have that concern, but there's, like I said, a little bit more context, which helps to make that make a little bit more sense. Like I said, I was so confident in it, and to give myself credit, it did still work out. But yes, I completely understand. Wow, you just built and built and built and built. Yes. If this was a different account, would I have done that? No, I would have cut the loss a long time ago. But like I said, given the context, it still made sense within more so the bigger picture prop firm strategy context. All right, now I'm going to do it again, build, but I do have a very kind of line in the sand stop loss up there that, so in there. All right, so that one just turned out to be a quick little scalp. Again, in the spirit of flexibility. In hindsight, yeah, I should have went larger, but that's okay. We can do it again. Again, I have my stop loss over these highs, so this one will not be any sort of build. I'll build a little bit, but then I just have, like I said, the stop loss right there that will serve as its kind of key area. All right, I'll pause. All right, I am thinking of a long here. This thing's looking pretty solid. I'm in long. All right. We try again. That was still a quick little $125 trade, but it didn't quite break out where I thought it was going to get going right then and there. And very well could be a lack of patience or just a lack of timing. But right now, looks like I was right as it, continues to just putz around here. Yep. Pulls back. Line here. So let's see if it wants to push up through there. That's a no. So yes, my instincts were right on that one. But although, if you watch past videos, sometimes my instincts make me look like a fool. But that one, the spidey senses were accurate. So, all right, let's see if it wants to come back up. And if it does, still interested in potentially trying to buy a break up through that level. I will pause. Well, on that note, a bit too much of a pullback here. And even if it were to recover, I'm not still sure I'd be as interested in that one. But yeah, overall, I'm going to go ahead and call it good. Not the greatest day, but by no means a terrible day either. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and call it good. Before I go, though, I want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar. So if you are a beginner trader, struggling trader, if you're a battle-hardened veteran, I'm not quite sure you'd really get anything out of this class. But if you're struggling or a beginner trader, then I'm quite confident that you'll find some value in the class. So check it out in the description area, or just go to claytrader.com/live to learn when the next live class actually is. But like I said, if you want to just learn more about how to properly approach the markets, make sure you have the right framework in place. And other important things, and like I said, beginner traders, struggling traders, there will be something for everybody in the class. So let me know if you have any questions below. And then again, I know I talk a lot about prop firms. So if you do want to learn more about prop firms and kind of why they're valuable and why I like them, then like I said, just check out that link that's also down in the description area. But yes, make sure you get signed up for the free class. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.